You know, there's one thing that's been missing from Marvel Legends for the longest time, and that's comic books. It's one of those things that used to be included in the package all the time when Toy Biz was releasing Marvel Legends, but as soon as Hasbro got the license, out the comic went. But for all you comics lovers out there, have no fear because we've got the next best thing now. Little teeny tiny facsimiles of comic books that the action figures can hold in their hand.
But beside that, guys, there's a pretty cool line of action figures here. So, which of these are any good? I don't know, guys. So let's find out together and take a look.
The first action figure we're going to look at, guys, is Banshee. And in case you were confused, he comes from Giant Size X-Men #1. It's one of the nice things about the packaging of this line is that it tells you exactly where the character comes from. So there's no doubt in our minds anymore. We know now. But of course, the star accessory of this line is the little comic book. A comic accessory that can fit right in the character's hand. And who came up with this? Who's the joker that thought this is a great idea? Is anyone actually out there saying, I would rather have that than a comic book? Would it kill them to include a real comic book? It doesn't even have to be like a big comic book, a regular comic book. It could be one of those little mini comics that they used to put in the package way back when. And now we're reduced to this? This sucks! Anyway, the action figure itself is pretty good. Banshee was one of the first Marvel Legends that Hasbro made back in 2007, and that action figure was terrible. This one is really good by comparison. Looks like he uses the Vulcan body, and it bears a lot of the same things as that original action figure did, except that the proportions look better, and I guess you could call it his cape. That looks pretty good too. It looks like the fabric is pretty soft stuff. It looks like it's very kind of almost cheap looking if I look at it. It doesn't look like real bad, but it doesn't look like it's real high quality either. But it looks good enough on him, right? And it does look like they've included the pop collar with Banshee, and he's even got his chops. And I gotta say, I love my Banshee with some chops. Doesn't he look good with those chops? He also has another head that has a screaming face on it, but it also doesn't have the chops. And I gotta be real here, I wish they both had the chops. I'm just all about those chops on Banshee. Without the mutton chops, he just doesn't look complete to me. I'm kidding, really. It's a pretty decent action figure, and I think that this represents the character well. I think that if you really want a Banshee, if you really like the character, I mean, this is a good one to have, right? I know it uses a generic body, but I'd say this is one of those cases of smart reuse because hey, it looks like the character. Not to mention that pop collar gives it a little bit of a relief element so it doesn't look like the costume is just painted on his body, right? It looks a little classier like that, so just saying, adds to the quality. The next action figure we're going to look at from this wave, guys, is Miles Morales, and this one is based on Ultimate Spider-Man. The packaging I love. I kind of wish they do this for every action figure where they would just outright label it in big bold letters where it's from. The comic book, though, I mean, I know I already said it, but God, these things are tacky. This is a tacky wave. Why is it so tacky? Stop being tacky. Marvel Legends is supposed to be cool, not supposed to be tacky. So Miles Morales is pretty cool, though. He has a really nice looking action figure here. It kind of looks like there's some texture on him on the web lines, doesn't it? I don't think that there is, but it does look really good. I think the paint on him looks really clean. I think he's got some good posability here just based on this alone. Like him getting into a deep crouch like that, yeah, buddy. Here's another slice of posability from them, and he does look really good like this, doesn't it? They're really showing off the hip movement, I think. And what is there to say, really? Yeah, he can get down there. He's squatting pretty low, isn't he? When Miles is standing, I find that I like him a little less because, I don't know, something about those hips just look off to me. They look like they're coming apart or something. Too far apart. Looks like he's got wide hips. It's like he's been squatting down for too long and he's needs to go see a doctor or something. I kid a little bit, but this is a really solid action figure. And I like the torso rocker and ab crunch combination. It feels like a really complete version of Miles Morales, and I think that if you're a fan, I mean, this is going to be a must-have, right? He's got the unmasked head, he's got the masked head. Apparently, articulation is really nice on him. Everything here looks good to me. A little light on accessories, and maybe that's because of the mini comic, but Otherwise, I think he's good. It might take you a minute to get past the sheer silliness of the mini-comic, but once you look past that, yeah, there's some good stuff going on. The next action figure we're going to look at from this wave, guys, is Ultimate Iron Man. And, well, like I say, right there in the package, there it is. Big bold letters. Ugh, ugh. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot during this video. So Ultimate Iron Man is another one that Hasbro did in their first wave of Marvel Legends 18 years ago. And that was another terrible action figure, just like Banshee was. I still have both of those. This action figure is way better, I can tell just looking at it. Literally everything. And what can I say except that it's such an improvement. You would expect it to be after 18 years. That original action figure, guys, it literally had a bucket for a helmet. I wish I was kidding around. You go look that up, yeah. Bucket for a helmet. It was bad. This looks a lot nicer. It looks like the paint is nicer, the plastic is nicer, just everything is so much more upscale than it used to be. The articulation on them looks like it's more thought out. The pieces look like they fit together better. They look like they move better. It looks like you can actually get around now. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't love this action figure. I think that this one's a total slam dunk. Everything here looks pretty brand new to me, and I can't think of anything to criticize, really. It's a totally awesome action figure. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you're enjoying this video about the new Marvel Legends mini-comic wave, please give it a like, guys, because these are tough to put together, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. The next action figure we're going to look at from this wave, guys, is Adam Warlock. This one comes from the Infinity Gauntlet. Pretty iconic storyline, definitely, and a character that is sorely needed. There was an Adam Warlock a while ago, I have him, but let's be honest, this one's a pretty decent improvement, I'd say. There's a few new pieces on Adam Warlock. The staff is new, the head is new, the gauntlet is new, the cape's new, everything else is just Vulcan, it looks like. And this is one of those moments where I say that I feel like the reuse is getting a little tacky, because when we see two of the same body in the same wave, I feel like it cheapens the wave a little bit. I think it would have been better if they had saved this action figure for another wave or come up with something different that uses a different body, because having more variety in a wave just balances it better, I think. That said, I don't think that Adam Warlock looks awful. I think that, yeah, he looks alright. I don't know that Vulcan is the best body for him, because when I think of Adam Warlock, think of a guy that's relatively thin compared to what we see here. Vulcan's kind of bulky, isn't he? A little bit for what I think of when I think of Adam Warlock. The staff does look pretty cool, though. It looks like it's got some nice texturing on it. Looks very wooden. Looks like there's some good separations on the wings of it at the top. The head looks really good, too. The feathering on the hair is beautiful. The expression just packs a whole lot of menace into it, and the cape is beautiful. It's plastic, it's not soft goods like we're seeing from other brands like McFarlane Toys, but it still looks good on him. And of course, one of the most important accessories here is his Infinity Gauntlet. This is a plot point during the storyline, and he actually does get the Infinity Gauntlet at some point. It looks a little bit small, doesn't it? I'm so used to seeing Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and his hand is absolutely enormous, so seeing Adam Warlock holding it, it's not bad or anything. I'm just noticing how tiny it looks on him. No, it looks great. The elements that we see here, the gauntlet, the head sculpt, the cape, they offset any generic quality that the body may have, and it distracts from it, which is kind of what you want in this sort of thing, I think, especially when they're reusing two of the same body in a given wave. The penultimate action figure we're going to talk about today, guys, is Daken from his appearance in Dark Avengers. Naturally, the view wouldn't be complete unless he was holding his little mini-comic, so there he is right there. Gotta be sure to show everyone the mini-comic in his hand, otherwise how are we gonna know he has it, right? He's kind of a cool-looking character. This one feels a lot like Sunfire, doesn't it? I don't know, I'm seeing all kinds of Sunfire vibes here, like the ab crunch really smacks of Sunfire. The butterfly joints too, the legs have that kind of thin wiry, muscular look, sort of like Sunfire. I don't know. I don't like this one as much as the others. This one definitely feels way too old for what it is. I think that the head accessories are nice. They look good. They're well detailed. They express the character. I think the hands are good. They've got the claws in the correct spots, and that's good too. I'm just not really feeling the rest of them. I feel like they could do better in 2025. Is anyone actually planning on having these characters hold their little mini comic? Is that a thing that people really want to do? Did they take a survey someplace? Like, I feel like I'm going crazy looking at this. At least he looks like he's having a good time. The last action figure we're going to look at today, guys, is ROM, based on his appearance from ROM Space Knight. And guess what, guys? We get not one, but two pictures of ROM posing with his comic book. Oh, it was so nice they had to do it twice. Double the pleasure, double the... Alright, so I'm gonna low with you guys. I really don't have hardly any idea who Rom is. Like, I'm aware of his existence, but I know next to nothing about the character because it's not a character that has really been in a series in my lifetime, and I can't think of any appearance I've ever seen him in. And I don't know any comic books that I could hunt down to find unless I just go track down like original issues or something. He looks cool. It looks all boxy and angular, and he's got all kinds of ridges, and God, he looks like he's not very functional. He looks like he's gonna have a hard time moving around with such a blocky frame and a blocky head. And why is everything blocks on him? Even his weapons are blocky. I mean, I know this is the way he is, but what? Well, let's not get it twisted. It's cool that we get to see his backside, and it does look nice. It's very well sculpted. It looks like they really pulled out a lot of stops for this one. They didn't skimp on anything. It's just so funny that they go maximum effort and go so hard on these characters that nobody knows, like Rom the Space Knight or Chris Star. They do these killer sculpts on these characters that nobody knows, and then they give the leftovers to fan favorites and semi-popular characters that maybe could use it more. I don't know, man. I guess I'm happy for all the old-timers out there who are finally getting their ROM action figure after so many years. In short, this is actually a really good wave of Marvel Legends. The characters are represented well, the sculpts on these are really nice looking, and most of them are very much worth having, I think. What do you think of this Marvel Legends mini-comic wave, guys? Let us know down in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to check out my other videos in the meantime. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will catch you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.